This is not the first time we've heard Smotrich talk about annexing Palestinian land. However, let's talk about the timing of such statements, because we were talking in the past few days about trying to reach a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, and at the same time he's making these statements about annexing land in the West Bank. How do you view these recent statements by Smotrich?
Smotrich has outlined his vision in 2017 that includes the annexation of huge parts of the West Bank and apply a much clearer apartheid system where our population is confined to cantons that are disconnected by Israeli military. And this is part of his supremacist ideological point of view that has been accepted through many ways in the Israeli street. That is even.
But we know that about him, Mr. Diliani. What about the timing? Because we've been seeing efforts for a ceasefire in the region as a whole, if we're talking about the war on Gaza and even in Lebanon. However, there were statements made by the representatives of the Palestinian envoy to the UN and the Security Council last night, and there were talks about that we should be confronting the humanitarian issue. At the same time, he's making statements about annexation of land.
What I was trying to say is that this is not new. This is consistent of his publicly announced policies. Not only him, this is also included in many of the Israeli political rhetoric that comes straight from the ruling party, which is the Likud and the rest of the coalition. So even the timing issue is not relevant to anything, because these ideologically driven radicals do not pay much attention to tactical maneuvers, political tactical maneuvers, including calls for a ceasefire, because none of them could be taken seriously up until this point. I mean, all the calls for a ceasefire, or more accurately, the cessation of the Israeli genocide in Gaza, all the calls has not been materialized or even come close to being materialized because of the stubborn Israeli position that insists on continuing the genocide for internal political reasons. And nothing has changed, despite the rhetoric coming from the United States, the White House, or from European countries that try to change the facts on the ground for their own political benefit. But it keeps on hitting the same solid rock, which is the insistence of the Israeli leadership in continuing with the genocide in Gaza and the war crimes in the West Bank, including occupied Jerusalem. And on top of it is the annexation, even his calls for annexation. Smotrich has begun his silent annexation from day one of the occupied West Bank by through his position as a minister in the Ministry of War, and transferring the what used to be authority of the military or the army to his civilian authority, which can only be translated legally and politically to a silent annexation. Okay. Annexation has been going on for months.